Welcome everybody to Anderson, Indiana. Josh, the RV Nerd here with one of the bigger 20 series Ibex. This is kind of the biggest segment of the Ibex family. It's a full 8-foot wide, rides a little bit higher. It's also a little bit taller inside, but basically it does all the things that the smaller 19 series does, and then a little bit more. Like when you move up here to the 20 series, you're picking up a second propane tank. You're getting ducted heating, centrally ducted air, but you're keeping all those awesome things like the 4-wheel trailing arm Kurt independent suspension package, which I don't care if you're gonna get off the pavement or just stay on the highways. It's, for my money, it's like one of the best riding and handling suspension packages available out there anywhere. Also, you have a built-in TPMS and Goodyear Wrangler tires, so if you're looking to do some traveling, this is one that's really gonna do, I think, a pretty good job of handling road stress. They put the biggest awning on this thing they could. They have some Asdel on the sidewalls, big XL vent fans, so you don't gotta worry about doing an upgrade. And they have already done the upgrading on the solar package as compared to last year, moving up to a 200-watt package with 30-amp controller, and now factory standard 2,000-watt inverter. That's pretty cool. That's a very solid, so like if you actually got a coffee maker or something, you'll be able to run it off the outlets in this RV. The underbelly's enclosed. They keep all the gate valves protected from the weather. They have tank heating pads, 60 by 80 true queen bed. Now it is a bendy bed Murphy bed, which isn't always my personal favorite and preference, but you don't have to use this one like a Murphy bed. If you just want to leave it closed all the time and swap out any queen mattress you want, you can totally do that here. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Convection microwave instead of a common oven, which works well for me, but I know some people won't like that, and that's what I want to do. Give you the up, down, good, bad, in between. Konami code up, down, down, left, right, BA, and let's get started.
Now, I don't normally start in a bathroom like this, but it is currently a fairly warm day. And I am enjoying the fact that this has come with its own factory-installed XL vent fan, because I've got like a 6-mile-an-hour breeze cooking through this camper because I've left the entry door cracked. That is the thing with those big fans. They're not going to do you any good if you don't allow a way for air to flow. If you're going to exhaust air out of the RV, you have to pull air back in somewhere else. I've seen some other similar floor plans. I'll leave you links in the video description. Rockwood, Freedom Express both have something similar, but they're all doing it a little bit differently. I do like the centralized air here that you get in the 20 series Ibex, and this is a 6'9" ceiling. This is a taller series of Ibex, and it's a full 8-foot wide, so this is a full-size kind of camper here. It's also kind of interesting to me. You get a little bit of ambient light bleed through from the front window where that Murphy bed's up there. But I'm kind of, how do you feel about being able to kind of see the end of the mattress? You know, they don't run those cabinets all the way up to the roof line right there. I got kind of mixed emotions on it because it does give the RV sort of a nice big open looking feel, but I can see it not being everybody's favorite thing. The 20 series, they do actually start ducting the air conditioning and the heating, but they're still carpetless and ventless in the floor. Very pet friendly in that regard. Now this might be somebody going, ooh, neat, or this might be somebody going, oh, I hate that. They don't do a gas oven. They do a convection microwave down below your 3-burner stovetop. I do like how they still recess that down with the rest of the countertop there. And instead of high-mounted power outlets where you have to get like an extension cord to plug anything in, they run their outlets right by the cabinet sides right there. So, you know, at least a shorter cord thing can probably still reach. And if I had one thing I'd personally like to change on these, I just really would like a window in the entry door, but Ibex just, they don't do that. So what they are doing though, something I do like, is they are now factory standard with a 2,000-watt inverter in every single one of these models. I think that's a really, really clutch detail. Very few manufacturers actually include an inverter from the factory, and if you don't know what that means, if you're not plugged into park power or if you don't have a generator, your household outlets don't work, because basically there's big electricity and little electricity in campers, and I'm oversimplifying that greatly, but for someone who's not an electrical engineer, that's how it works. That inverter will allow you to convert little electricity off the battery into big electricity for the household outlets, but at the expense of putting extra drain, strain, and draw on the battery. So kind of keep that factor in mind right there. Actually, I want to park my butt on the Murphy sofa over here because you see that you're straight across from that entertainment center, which I think is awful handy. That TV can also pivot around a little bit. So if you're at the dinette bench seat that faces toward the TV, you can still have a pretty good angle on the entertainment right there. Another thing that's kind of easy to miss in this floor plan just because of its location is the central vacuum system. And this is one of only 4 brands of RVs in this class, Surveyor being another one, that has a central vacuum factory standard, and it has the whole pool cleaner hose kit, but you don't necessarily have to use that because it also has what I call electric dustpan. There's a little toe kick that you can flick up and just brush everything right into it, which is kind of handy. They do a lot of these elevated breakfast bars, and I really like them. I will say, though, I'm a bit of a klutz. I would definitely find a way to jab my leg into that thing at some point, but that's more of a me problem than a Ibex problem. I don't think they did anything wrong there. They put their control panels up really high to keep them away from little fingers, but I do know some people who are a little bit shorter who maybe don't necessarily like the location of all that. I'm kind of curious, is it good they put it up high, or would you rather have it down a little bit? Now, real quick, if I see something, I say something, and I just noticed something. If you look above the bed right by that vent, there's a little piece of ceiling trim that kind of popped on this one a little bit. I don't love that. It's fixable, but hey, I'm just trying to be fair here. I'm going to let you know what I see, and you can form your opinions from there. Now, let's get this all cracked open over here. Our 60 by 80 True Queen Murphy bed. Now, keep in mind, as we look at this footage, I did have to flip you open into ultra wide angle mode, but this is one of the easiest operating Murphy beds, and again, at least it is 60 by 80. But remember, if you don't like the whole Murphy bed concept, this does not have to be a Murphy bed. You could put in any residential sized 60 by 80 True Queen bed of your choice and preference and leave it there if you're willing to sacrifice the Murphy function. And with this having, the sofa straight across from the TV, I don't know that I love that idea. Pardon me. Ooh, excuse me. Pardon me, I about had my whole face suffocated so I didn't blow your eardrums out there. But my point is, this one gives you options. You know, you could put a foam topper on it. And when that Murphy bed folds up, there's plenty of area up in that headboard. You could actually potentially use that Murphy bed sector for a little bit of like enclosed maybe tote storage when you're going down the road. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, you saw how the dinette folds down into a sleeper. There's storage below those benches. I like that they gave us some doors for those benches. Slide side breeze windows on both sides of the slide. I've actually seen some manufacturers only put one breeze window on the slide sides, which doesn't make the most sense to me. And obviously, they're not doing that here. So it doesn't matter what the other ones are doing. This is what this brand does. Ooh. Now, that's got to be worth at least 37 cents right there. We got the barley poppinator right over here by your key hooks. That actually makes a lot of sense. Because if you're going to crack open a cold one, you need to hang up your keys. Don't be stupid. Please, 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 folks. It's just one little mistake like that will change your life. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on a drinking and driving soapbox. It's just so silly. Refrigerator. Let's talk fridge. We're looking at a 12-volt DC compressor fridge today. The Indiana-built Ibex models, the Eastern production Ibexes, have a 12-volt fridge, and they have no two-way option. However, out west where boondocking's more common, they're standardized with a two-way fridge and have no 12-volt option. So they provide the refrigerator that is most commonly desired by geographic location. That doesn't mean it's going to be the right fridge for you. It just means that's how they're doing it effectively. Now, I like that you have a sink right in the bathroom, so you don't got to wash your bathroom hands in here. There's some really good space around that toilet. I found that very comfortable. If you're a larger person, the left side might get a little tight, but I didn't think it was terrible. Over here, though, like when it's all closed up, I don't know that you really get the full feel for what we're looking at over there, but using some Superman X-ray vision, man, that right there is a massive chunk of storage. There's an extra hanging closet in there, and then whether it's going to be pantry storage or linen storage or bath towels or some combination of all those things, that is an absolutely awesome chunk of space there. And they're able to accomplish all of that because this doesn't have an integrated outside camp kitchen. They give you a separate portable griddle included with it. And with this RV being 6'9" from floor to ceiling panel, even when you step up into the shower, I had plenty of head clearance in that thing. So, as a taller person, I really like what they're doing here in the 20 series Ibex. The 19 series still generally fits me, but this one fits me a whole lot better. But that's just me, man. And as far as road mode goes, I'm going to give this one an A-, because with a full depth slide and the dinette sticking out a little bit and a peninsula style countertop, I wasn't sure how much space we were going to have here. it's a little tight, and that's why I've given it an A- and not an A+. If you're willing to do a sideways travel trailer two-step, though, you can get back to the fridge, you can get to the bathroom, you can get to those travel critical functions. But one of the other things that's really awesome on this camper is not only can you leave the bed down and close the slide, you can leave the bed down and still walk around the bed and have room to change your clothes in the morning, and that's a rare find with a Murphy.
And once again, for towing and going, check out the specs on this thing. Fully loaded with maximum cargo, about 7,500 pounds, which allows for a couple grand potentially worth of cargo carrying capacity, and like 23 foot long, basically, with that quad wheel independent suspension package. If you are looking for an RV that packs a lot of big features in, and you want to travel a lot, and you're looking for something not too big in size, like you want to get through state national parks, you've got limited parking space, or you just don't want a giant RV, man, this thing checks a lot of those boxes. Now, again, in the 20 series up front here, we go to a full 8 foot wide, and we also pick up the dual propane tanks with the auto changeover regulator. Up here, we've got that TPMS relay because, again, the TPMS is built right in, comes with its own separate monitor, and the little battery disconnect up there. Now, they allow you dealer's choice on the batteries. Some people really like, lithium batteries. Some people don't need all that. Like, I'm just a generic park camper. I don't need fancy pants, lithium batteries. But even then, the solar package up on the roof is going to do me some favors in just keeping that battery tended so that I don't have to replace my battery every year or two. Batteries should last longer than that, but when you hard drain a common lead acid battery, you damage it, and it never really wants to come back to full. Kind of like if you blow your knee out, you can fix it, but it ain't quite the same. And you can see right there a full pass-through compartment, which is something I always like to have it. You know, whether you're loading up your lawn chairs or you're hitching once you get there, something like that, it's just super useful. Now again, no window in the door, not my favorite feature, but they did put the biggest awning on this thing I think they possibly could. Our sidewalls do have Asdel. It's directly below the fiberglass layer. The interior wall panel is still a Luan wood product, so kind of keep that in mind. Now you also have a cold water sprayer port over here. The RV does include one of those handy little coily hoses and the little sprayer handle kind of job. I don't know if you can read what my sign language there. That's apparently the international RV sign language for garden hose sprayer handle, but hey, we all learned something today, right? Goodyear Wrangler tires. That is some pretty solid sneakers on this kid right here. And again, we're not riding on leaf spring, we're not even riding on torsion. 4-wheel true independent suspension package right here. I've personally test driven some RVs with all kinds of different suspensions. Hands down, this is my favorite, and being a quad wheel, I don't even want to say tandem axle because that's not actually accurate. God forbid you have some kind of blowout, even though it's a good tire. Like, what if you catch a screw, in a parking lot somewhere? Having that extra wheel on the ground versus a single axle offers a lot of peace of mind to get limped off the road. The underbelly's enclosed, and the tanks do have holding tank heaters, which is cool. Here's an interesting thing. They don't actually force air, heat, and duct their underbellies on these, which almost seems like, oh, why wouldn't they do that? And the thing is, that was my knee jerk too until I learned a little bit more. Most manufacturers, they will run the water line coming off your holding tanks out to the end of the RV. So at the end of the line is where your gate valve, your shutoff is located. Ibex puts their gate valves basically right on the tanks, so that there's not leftover water just sitting there in the lines waiting to get frozen. So the water's in the tanks, and you're not wasting water in the residual water in the lines, and then the tanks are heated. The thing is, too, they're very, very good about keeping their sewer outlets up higher, so you're not going to rip them off if you pull into some place. Even, have you ever noticed this? Campgrounds have one of two driveways. They're either awful, full of potholes, or they're paved and have wicked speed bumps. There's no such thing as a smooth campground driveway. If you've seen one, I want to hear it in the comments. And if that's also been your experience, what I just described, leave me a comment and say, yep, preach, brother, So they're keeping all that up out of the way. Now, giving you a quick peek up top there at the roof. You can see that 200-watt solar package standard on these now versus the 80 that used to be there. But also, You see that little mounting cargo rack kind of thing that's up there? That's one of the really cool things that they're doing. Most people are not actually putting like a kayak up there or something. Nothing says you can't. And to support the weight, if you do load something up there, they're using a roof deck that is literally twice as thick as even a luxury fifth wheel. It is a 6/8 thickness, basically, a 3/4 inch thick roof decking, instead of 3/8 inch roof decking, which is still walkable. This is just going to be far more structural and robust. And if you want to add some extra solar panels, that roof cargo rack gives you a place to mount those without actually screwing stuff into the roof of your RV, which if there's a leak as a result of those, manufacturers don't cover that because they didn't do the work. So that roof rack gives you a way to add solar without negatively affecting warranty. Now, until recently, I didn't have a good, reliable way to get my hands on these models, but that's kind of changed with the introduction of this Anderson, Indiana store, only a couple hours just south of my hometown, Southern Michigan store. And this is a beautiful, big facility. But we do carry Ibex at quite a few locations, so check that link in the video description if you'd like to see where we have one of these parked and what we're asking. And if there's a specific Ibex floor plan you'd really like me to get my hands on or something you'd like to know about them, leave me some comments and let me know, and I'll do my best. Also, how do you think they did today? Let us know where they nailed it and where they failed it in your estimation. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.